Hello YouTube. I don't actually know if I'm in focus or not because I haven't used the vlog camera in a whole minute. I'm down the field because today's video is FOAL based. I haven't actually posted any YouTube videos about my FOAL since I posted the announcement that she was here. I'm down the field to do a little FOAL-y video. She's already seen me. She is over there, but she is slowly making her way over because she loves me and she always comes over whenever I come down the field. So today is going to be a video that has a bit of mishmash of footage because it's going to be all about weaning Dakota. She is nearly 6 months old, which is the time frame that I wanted to wean her at. I know some people do it differently. Some people wean them earlier, which I'm not particularly a fan of. I like to wait till they're 6 months. Me saying that like I've done this before, I haven't, she's my first FOAL. But yeah, I wanted to wait till she was 6 months old. I wanted her to be nice and mature. And I didn't want it to be a traumatic experience for her. So it has been a gradual process. She's coming over. Hi girl. Hi girl. Say hello to YouTube. She's a little bit bigger since you guys last saw her. She's a little bit larger. Look at that gorgeous girl. She's so huge now. This is going to be about how I weaned Dakota and the things I did to start the process because I didn't want to do it cold turkey. Again, I know some people do it cold turkey and I'm not saying you shouldn't, but it's not personally what I want to do with mine, especially as Dakota has always been quite a sharp, sensitive, delicate little soul. I think she wouldn't have taken well to doing quite an abrupt weaning. I think that would have been quite a traumatic... Off she goes. I think that would have been quite a traumatic experience for her and I really didn't want that. I want it to be as easy and relaxed as possible. So it has been a gradual process over a few weeks and I'm going to be talking you guys through what I did and why I did it. I'll give you cuddles in a minute. Oh, okay, I'm sorry if the camera falls off everyone. Dakota, don't knock it off, darling. I don't want the camera to get muddy. She's rather large. We don't know how big she's going to get just yet. I'm hoping 15.2, bigger if possible, but I'm expecting 15.2. Her mum is 14 hands, the sire is 15.2, but she's quite large. Kind of at my rib cage now, height-wise. Everyone asking me about her colour, so she's still technically coloured, please don't walk into me. But we do think she's going to grey out. I'm not an expert on colour genetics, but there is a possibility that Crystal has the double grey gene, which means that all her foals will inevitably grey out one day. But I'm hopeful, but she has greyed out a little bit on her shoulder and I think she will one day be grey. I think she'll be a very nice blue and white for a few years when she's older, but eventually she will go completely grey is what we're thinking. Been enjoying the rolling life. I wanted to show Crystal's weight improvement because obviously when she first had Dakota she did drop quite a lot. Dakota's not going to let us see, but she has put on lots of weight, which I'm very happy about. I thought I'd talk a little bit more about the early stages of the weaning process while we watch this video of Dakota being a little lunatic. I started off, obviously, since day one, they were turned out next to my other horses. And Inky in particular is very fond of Dakota. If you follow my Instagram, you'll see that they met over the stable door many times and absolutely loved each other. So I knew that when I wanted to start introducing her to other horses, I wanted to use Inky as he is extremely gentle and very, very loving with her. Hello. Hi, baby. Look who you're out with. There's Mama. Hi, baby. Come to say hi. There's Mama. This is day 2 of them all being out together. It's going really well. They just get on so easily. Inky and Crystal have been turned out together before she had a foal, so I knew they'd get on fine. And Dakota and Inky have been stabled next to each other and they've met nose to nose quite a few times when I've led Inky through her field or just over the stable door, and they get on really well. So to start the weaning process, I decided to put Inky in with them. Dakota doesn't really like him, she's still clinging to Mum a bit, but she's going to be in with Inky for a couple of weeks and then she's going off to stud. Her and Crystal are going to go to the stud and then the weaning process will fully begin because she'll be 6 months old. But it's nice to just ease her into it, get her socialised with another horse, because she hasn't been out with any other horses. Unfortunately, I didn't have multiple foals that she could go out with, so it's nice for her to socialise, and she's chill about it. Crystal, you don't even like Dakota anymore. Is she bullying you? Yeah. So after I had started the initial stages at home by just turning her out with another horse, it was time for Dakota to go off to stud. And this was my last day with her before she went off to the stud.
Feel your pain.
Oh. Where are we? Dakota.
He's so doggy.
Yeah, he's a little dog.
He's a little nerdy look, aren't you?
He's silly. Oh, you're a pretty man. Hey. Okay, so update on the weaning process. I'm currently at the stud. Been rained on a bit, so excuse the state of my hair. The Dakota is here, and Crystal, obviously. And back there is her brother Togo and the nanny Cherry. So we're just introducing Dakota to them so she feels comfortable with them in preparation for when we take Crystal away. So it's going to be done over a few weeks. They've been here nearly a week now, and they'll be here 2 more weeks before I come and pick up Crystal and leave Dakota here with all her siblings and her family. Like I said earlier in the video, I know a lot of people wean cold turkey. I really didn't want to do that. Crystal is a first time mum and she's very protective of Dakota still. And Dakota was also quite a shy foal. She isn't now, she's actually very bold and she's been very friendly with the others. It's actually Crystal that is still being too protective. So we just have to wait for Crystal to kind of let Dakota go before we can fully remove her. Oh, look at her face. They're just standing there. You grumpy mare. Look at that face. Don't come near my child. Okay, sorry Dakota. She's like, attention on me please. Oh, Crystal. She's still a bit protective. It's getting better. Dakota has been able to talk to Cherry and Togo. But as you can see, Crystal's still a little bit overprotective over the baby. But so far the process is going well. Ha! Going well? Dakota said, watch this. Oh, look, it's Dakota. Why is she in a stable? That's weird. We thought she was living out. Oh, look, full leg cast. Well done, Dakota. The process has gone exactly to plan. I expected to be adding into this video. I thought, oh, I'll just document the weaning process. Well, that's not what I expected to be adding into this video. I thought, oh, I'll just document the weaning process. Well, it's been a little bit more eventful than we expected. So yesterday, I got a message saying Dakota's got a cut on her leg. It's not serious. From the photos, it just looked like a little nick. It's cold. With the photos, it wasn't serious at all, but she wouldn't let anyone catch her to have like a clean of it and a proper investigate. It was well. And then when I had a closer look, her knee was very, very, very swollen compared to the other one. I was like, oh, that's not great. So I rang my vet and they asked for pictures, whether they deemed it as an emergency to come out that evening or if they could wait until the next, so they could see whether they deemed it as an emergency to come out that evening or if they could wait until the next day. I was like, oh, okay, that's not great. So we brought Crystal and Dakota in and the vet came and had a look at Dakota's leg. She cleaned the wound and she showed me actually the extent of the injury. There was a skin flap so you couldn't actually see how bad the injury was. I will insert a photo, but be warned if you're not a fan of like blood or gore and stuff. It's not that gory, but you can see blood and flesh, so just skip a little bit if you don't want to see the pictures. Vet came and had a look at Dakota's leg. She cleaned the wound. This is the wound on the evening that the vet came. The skin flap is still there. You can see it's fairly deep, but you can't really see the extent. She had to have a full leg cast on. This is her in her little bandage. This is to keep out infection, though I'll explain this a bit more later. This is the wound once the skin flap was removed. and this was after it was cleaned. You can see more of the extent of the damage now in these photos. Days, and she has to have a couple of weeks box rest with it bandaged because of the placement of the wound. It's right above the joint of her knee, which is very, very important, and if an infection gets in the joint, that is very, very bad. It can even be game over. So we were essentially, my bank account did not want, but if that's what Dakota needed, having to decide if the wound was serious enough to warrant x-rays, taking her into the clinic for x-rays, scans, and possibly surgery. So we are playing it by ear currently. She is sound again today, so that's pretty much cleared us out of the route of surgery, which is really great news. So we don't think there'll be any lasting damage. It's just a fairly superficial wound, though it's fairly deep, so she does have to be on box rest for a couple of weeks and have it bandaged that entire time just to prevent infection. Like I said, infection is the main thing that we're trying to avoid, which is why it's just got to be fully wrapped up constantly. Horses, eh? As I said, Dakota had to have a total of 3 weeks box rest. We started with the 2 weeks and then had the vet come and recheck her, and unfortunately it wasn't quite healed enough to go out, so she had to have an extra week's box rest, and as you can see, she was not impressed about it. She's a 6-month-old baby, she's got so much energy, and the poor thing has to be on box rest. But we separated her and Crystal, and I took Crystal home. It went very, very smoothly. Dakota and Crystal were both absolutely fine, which was really lovely because I was very stressed about it just being a really smooth process, and I didn't want to upset either of them, especially as Crystal was in FOAL and Dakota is very precious to me. But she's coping extremely well. She's making friends. She's also making enemies as she is taking on a 16-hound thoroughbred, and she's just crazy. She's way too bold. She's got so much confidence. She's just the funniest character, and she really reminds me of Crystal. This is Crystal's child through and through. But finally, after 3 weeks on box rest, Dakota got to go out in the field for the first time. Luckily, her injury was just a cut. It was fairly deep, so it took some time to heal, but there was no lasting damage that's going to affect her. It was all very superficial, and she's very happy to be back out in the field. It's definitely not how I expected the weaning process to go, but it's definitely been interesting nonetheless. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's a bit mishmash with clips, and it definitely didn't go in a direction that I expected, but I hope it was enjoyable and everyone's happy with the FOAL update, because I have been having a lot of people request to see Dakota, and the last time I showed a video of her was when she was newborn, so she's definitely a lot bigger now. But yeah, so now she's living out with her half siblings and all the youngsters at the stud, so she can socialise and make some friends, as you can see her doing here, and she's very happy.